So talking about secure SD-WAN, SonicWall firewalls, again, 30 plus years of history. I'll touch on a few things, what we are very proud of, what our customers prefer, what our partners prefer for. And there are a few areas where we need to do a lot more, and I'll share where we're heading. There's one simple vision for our enterprise firewall offering. We want to make sure that we offer consistent management experience, consistent policy experience, security stack across all use cases, all form factors. So one of the initiatives when we were looking at SEC offerings out there, and while it was, I think, a marriage made in heaven with Arun and Banyan, we were looking at, okay, how well can the security stack be converged, the user experience for our customers, from an on-prem firewall environment or a firewall deployed in a public cloud or firewall as a service, from Banyan. More importantly, we are one of those few vendors out there, or maybe the only vendors out there, when you're looking at our firewalling portfolio or SD-WAN, for all purposes, the management experience is same if you're logging in locally on Box, or going through our centralized management platform on-prem, or going through our cloud-native SaaS management platform. So you can log in into a local remote user firewall, you get the same experience, or you can get into a high-end data center firewall passing 100 gigs of traffic, thousands of tunnels, same features, same functionality, same user experience, full feature parity. More importantly, what we are seeing, and maybe it's a bigger shift in the mid-market SMB commercial space, there's a lot of transition. Customers want to have the agility to evolve with the evolving nature of the perimeter. They want to move to the cloud. Some are saying, I moved to the cloud. It was good for my bust. When pandemic hit, I want to move back. Okay, I've been hearing that, okay, cloud is very expensive. There are all sorts of shifts happening. So we want to make sure that our licensing model is that flexible that it moves with our generations of product. You're using a Gen X of a firewall or you're going to a Gen Y of firewall, you can move that license term. If you're moving from an on-prem hardware form factor to a private cloud build infrastructure, you can move your entitlements there. Or if you're looking for moving your controls from an on-prem CPE, just do SD-WAN on the firewall at the edge and then do all security controls as what Tarun highlighted. We want to give you that offer and agility to move those controls to the cloud and use that scale. So everything which we do is with that intent. We're known for our security efficacy. Our threat intelligence teams does a phenomenal job. And again, a little bit of that is attributed to the scale at which we operate. When you have millions of firewalls sharing telemetry, with you, and other security controls, it makes it, probably a little easier for us. Just a sneak peek into our portfolio. We have the NSVs, which is our virtual firewall. We have the TZ series, primarily for SMB branch, IoT deployments, NSA, which is more of a mid enterprise, higher, bigger branch, campus deployments, and SSP for those distributed enterprises, data center, bringing it all into one, and then SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge, bringing in the firewall as a service, cloud delivered ZTNA from the Banyan security acquisition. One thing which we have noted, and what I would love to get your perspective as well, in the network security space, we briefly discussed in that evolution slide in the beginning, but we had firewalls, several firewalls, and then there was networking vendors putting security on their routers. Then it was firewall vendors bringing that advanced routing into the firewall. The good thing for us was, from a SonicWall perspective, all those routing capabilities were always there in the firewall. We were the edge platform. So we didn't have to go into that marriage of bringing in those capabilities. Okay, we are an advanced router offering those advanced SD-WAN capabilities. We do have deep packet inspection with features like antivirus, IPS, sandboxing, breach detection, URL filtering. There are a ton of proprietary engines. But one thing which we had to get right, and we did that about 6-7 years ago, was SaaS management. A multi-tier, multi-tenant, cloud-native SaaS management. That'll be my first demo today. Making sure we get towards that ZTE, SSE offering the unified experience. And what we're aspiring towards is an all-in-one, wherein our customers can manage it end-to-end. The cloud firewall, bringing the edge, all in a single pane of glass, single intent-based policy, and for an environment which is heterogeneous because of regulatory requirements, compliance requirements. You want to do things locally on-prem, you have that option. You want to do it in the cloud, you can do it in the cloud. Or if you want to go have a private edge, you have that option all from a single console, single environment. With that, I'll go into my first demo, which is our scalable SaaS management. I'll specifically talk about some MSSP capabilities. I have enough time last night to record my demo, so just to make sure I hit on the time, I will use a recorded demo today. So what you see here is our network security manager, multi-tier, multi-tenant. I am in a multi-tenant view. Right now, what you see is, imagine an MSSP looking at their multiple different customers all in a single pane of glass. How many firewalls are up? Where are they located? What is the status? Device up, device down, licensing, entitlement, alerts, all in from a single pane. A detailed view where we can go into, summary, different dashboards. You can customize these dashboards. You can get, a NOC view or a network view. You can get a summary view from, the type of applications, threat actors, malicious activity. You can tweak these to, get database on users, graphs, and things like those. This is the inventory view, wherein from a firewall perspective, what you see here is that we have a data center firewall. Going back to my topology from the demo perspective, you have multiple different branches and some cloud firewalls out there. A multi-tenant view on a group activity. So let's say an MSSP sees, there was a SonicWall firewall, there was a vulnerability out there. Let's go ahead and patch all firewalls. For all purposes, they can upgrade their entire customer fleet at a scheduled time, depending on their groups, type of devices, type of firmware, or if it's a scheduled upgrade, there's a new feature they're rolling out. We announced the Banyan Cloud Secure Edge connector. They want to go offer that to their end customers. They can do a group activity out there. What you see here is a very detailed audit capability, wherein a NOC administrator can simply say, I want to schedule an upgrade to this new feature, and we allow them to go for an approval workflow. So it can go from a tier 1 to a tier 2. The tier 2 approves. Once approves, it shows who approved it, what was done, what was the change. You can do a diff, and please go ahead.
So, two questions. I'll start with what you just showed. So, is that also possible on an external system? So, if I do my change management process elsewhere?
Yes. We integrate with your ticketing systems. For all purposes, we'll give you the opportunity to tie in the ticket number. So rather than us capturing all those details, we integrate with your solution out there. We do few today, but for all purposes, an open API infrastructure. So pretty much all these ticketing systems or workflow management systems allow to integrate. So the approval will go to the request, and rather than us maintaining the track record of what was approved, what was not, we'll be doing that in the system.
So I'm able to initiate the process
Yes.
in a ticketing system.
Yes.
And then approvals would go
back to the console. Yes.
I mean, like the entire flow
be
done, outside
of
the system, but it's going to be documented.
Yes.
The second piece was if you allow APIs to actually go and withdraw all the relevant information, for again an external system, like Grafana or something. If I want to build my dashboard someplace else.
So we do allow that. So essentially, you're looking for a complete flow export of your infrastructure.
I'm just saying that we're adding systems. Multiple times a year. But we definitely don't want to create dedicated dashboards on those different
absolutely
systems, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You definitely want to have one. You can build as many dashboards as you want, but everyone will go to the same place.
Exactly. So the short answer is yes, you can do that. I would not recommend using this offering like the SaaS management and then exporting the logs into that custom dashboard or the collector because of the pure cost. We are ingesting first the logs and then exporting. We incur a cost and we transfer that to our customer or partner. We do offer direct flow records from the firewalls or sensors into your systems, and we can help you build those dashboards in there. But for all purposes, what you just described, if the request is to export everything out, and a lot of our customers do that for compliance requirements. Let's say a particular compliance needed, not just custom dashboards. Hey, I need to store my logs for 2 years, and why store it, save it with SonicWall? It's just way too expensive. I can do it locally at a much cheaper.
I mean, they can stream it.
They can stream it, yes.
Right? And, then starting to parse it and and visualize it in different dashboards, different systems.
And there are many vendors in the market who actually offer these dashboards. I wouldn't call them, Steam vendors, but they're a little more and larger than that. They offer custom dashboards for SonicWall firewalls, which look and feel similar to what we have. So essentially replicating what is in our management console, wherein if you are adopting to, just taking one example, there's one manage engine, there's fast view, and these were from my conversations this week. There are a few others out there. So for all purposes, you have the same experience, and then you have the luxury of customizing it to whatever nature you would like to. So let's skip through a little bit of this. This is where we are into the data center firewall, and I'll show you the template view. So one thing which our MSPs would love, or any customer with a large distributed enterprise, for anything repeatable, let's say you're rolling out multiple branches, you're a retail store, you have 300 branches, and now you're onboarding 20 more. For all purposes, there's a cookie cutter configuration which is getting rolled out that, okay, I have 2 POS systems, they will be part of my PCI zone. I have guest Wi-Fi, I have some physical security, and a few other things. And for all purposes, this is a standard configuration. All that can be templatized for all purposes. Zero trust provisioning, you unbox the box, scan the QR code, it detects that you're part of Acme Inc. tenant, you're a new branch. Same configuration gets pushed out. And the templates are customizable to a point wherein you can use variables. For example, just taking a very basic example, that, and I have this here in the demo, the host name of the firewall should be the serial number. So that's a variable. So we'll detect the serial number, and the host name will be truncated with that just for a unique identifier. But the WAN IP is DHCP, but the LAN scope, let's say, is different for a particular retail store in this case. You have the ability to change the template during the deployment, or offer variables wherein you can upload a CSV file. Let's say you're doing a bulk onboarding, you're rolling out 200 locations. We don't want you to go manually make changes 200 times here. You can use it through your automation engine. We offer full APIs, or in a template, just upload a CSV file of what those variables are for each store, and we will help you provision that. So from a scalable deployment, that's where we come in and offer some unique capabilities. One other thing I want to also show out is this is the firewall view. And this is where our customers love the experience we offer. What you see here in our SaaS management or our centralized management is exactly similar to what a customer would see when they log into their local box. Full feature capability, full functionality. So for all purposes, the same menu controls, monitor device configuration, you're now looking at a device level. The level of dashboards which you're looking earlier at the aggregated level is now on the dashboard. This is us looking at a template, just going back. The firewall was deployed with, hey, make the host name a serial number, and that's deployed. Going into a branch firewall, this is a small TZ270, a small box, same look and feel and experience available in that firewall.
I had one quick question.
Please.
Mm-hmm. So I just want to know, because I know like other vendors, is this something where once you scan that serial number, it onboards that you can start pulling the configuration, pull it down and go? Or is this something, because I've seen them as well, where like before they even get on the shipping truck, like when they get in through the manifest, like it pulls it in the dashboard, can build the configuration. Is that an option with that too, or do you need to actually?
There is. So everybody, as a zero touch is an abuse term like zero trust. There is no zero touch. There has to be some touch.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
touch one is either you scan the QR code, which is on the carton box, and simply log into your tenant and associate that box that this was purchased by Acme Inc. and this will be part of my tenant A. Once that part is done, the moment the box goes and connects to a WAN link and gets connectivity, it will go in and pull the entire configuration. Did I answer your question?
Oh, yes, it did. Thank you.
Perfect. So again, for all purposes, from application layer, you can do different applications. Web categories. What you see here is multiple different applications which we're detecting. Again, a demo environment. All I could do was run a few different websites from my port. But for all purposes, application detection capabilities is included. Again, it's a commoditized features. We want to make sure there are many in the market who are having different licenses, but we don't believe in all that. It's available to our customers at no cost.
Do I still retain the option to connect directly to the box, outside of the cloud service?
Absolutely. You can directly connect to the box. If you make configuration changes locally. It will prompt that you are part of a centralized management platform, you're making local changes. It will go ahead and make this device unmanaged in the cloud management portal and allow the administrator to either go accept the changes made locally or push the last known config from here and do a sync.
Good.
Yeah. This is purely to avoid in a co-management environment. And again, in the interest of time, I might skip through that section. But when it comes to co-management, let's say I'm the MSP and you're the administrator, you're making a change, that's great. But as an MSP, I would want you to only make certain changes which are trying to do with your policy, but not the day-to-day management of the box. So I might say, okay, as a customer, Mr. Customer, we won't give you access to upgrade the firewall or make changes to, which are not required from a policy standpoint. But as far as access control, application detection, URL filtering, you're welcome to make those changes. So it's easier for us to define a scope. We're giving you admin privileges, but within admin privileges, we are restricting you to only certain areas with that privilege, and that's something we can do.
It also encourages, I think, everyone to try and stick to, I would say, one standard, change management process.
Yep.
It's a good thing.
Perfect. So going back to the slide, just to match the excitement, okay, coming and talking about firewalls in 2024, I had to do something new and exciting for all my viewers and delegates here and match Tanu's energy. So I took special permission from our marketing that we are launching a new product in 2 weeks. Might as well call it a soft launch, for lack of a better term, and introduce something new to you. So with that, we are releasing a new, small, tiny SOHO offering, TZ80. I guess this is the first time we're showing it publicly. Quite a few highlights here. A new platform to tie in the overall rationale of connectivity and security use cases. Essentially, you can do all in this particular platform. This small tiny box can do up to 750 megs of protected throughput. And what I mean by that is you turn on IPS, malware detection, sandboxing, URL filtering, all bells and whistles of the firewall, and you can still get about 750 meg. Small tiny box with a fiber interconnect. Even in rural broadband areas today, we see fiber being a requirement. More importantly, I guess we're one of the first ones. Maybe I have a bias here, but we offer not just annual licensing, but monthly licensing. So you can get all security services close to $30, $35, depending on the provider you're going through on a monthly basis. If your use case is pure connectivity, just connect, turn on all traffic or require traffic to Banyan or Cloud Secure Edge, and trusted traffic go direct. For that simple SD-WAN deployment, there's a connectivity use case wherein this box comes in at a small tiny license about $17, $18 a month. More importantly, you can procure something like this for just $99 from a service provider as a part of our channel program. You can buy it off any different VAR, DMR, or retailer out there. We want to make sure that an offering of this scale and everything which I showed in our entire portfolio, everything will be available on this box, including local management, every bell and whistle functionality, all in this particular offering. Then we said, okay, we need to make it one level simpler. Okay, offering so much, how do we eliminate complexity? There were ideas, hey, disable features, make the UI simple. One thing we realized that in the firewall space or SD-WAN space, having that controller, the centralized management, how about we just offer that license to all our customers? So cloud management is now included with this box. Optional, you can choose to deploy your on-prem centralized manager. You can choose to locally manage if it's just one firewall. But if you're rolling out hundreds of these or thousands of these, or even tens, we will offer cloud management included with this. The use cases we want to target with this small offering, rural broadband, big push by the Biden infrastructure bill. Internet of Things, SonicWall is known for embedding firewalls into a ton of IoT spaces. We have surgical robots to medical carts to parking meters to toll booths. Without naming the customers, if you're driving on 995, I think I can probably say that all the tire shops on the right and left, all the car washes in that, all the toll booths and plazas, even though it changes 6 states and different, they're most likely powered by a SonicWall firewall embedded in there. In the middle of nowhere with probably cellular connectivity of some sorts, or maybe some kind of a dial-up still, but all sorts of connects is what we see. So IoT is a big space, and then again, a lot of the counties and government organizations are going into security surveillance, video surveillance. There are regulatory requirements to either encrypt or secure those streams. And that's where a small box with this throughput could be a good use case. Definitely a micro SMB, remote worker. We know how notorious Tarun is with Match.com, and we want to make sure we secure him. Maybe ask him to connect his MiFi to this box and move around. Okay, simple thing to put in. For all purposes, SonicWall hired their first product manager, not at HQ. I am in Raleigh, North Carolina, and SonicWall is right here. And they would like to secure me. Yeah. So this would be a perfect fit. 750 megs of protected throughput, every feature turned on. That's something good enough for a remote worker. Event and hospitality. Right now, I think we all are connected to the Weston's network. Okay. For all purposes, if you were showing something new and exciting and proprietary, still not getting live in a few weeks, maybe we could have secured this environment with the small box connecting and reconnecting to it. So multiple different use cases. We wanted to make sure we get the small factors small, we get the cost of the ownership way low, and without compromising what we're known for, the security efficacy and the features. So with that, I'll quickly get into the SD-WAN demo and the cloud connector, which Tarun highlighted. So back to the same topology, we have the SD-WAN, the multiple different branches. I have a data center. The goal is simple. These 3 branches will be, and I have this small TZ80 right there in number 4, also in this environment. So multiple different boxes are connecting to my data center. First, we'll talk about the VPN overlay which we're building. So for all purposes, what you see here is I'm building a VPN between each branch to data center. And for that, I'm tying the security associations, my phase 1, phase 2 attributes from a configuration standpoint. Looking at a workflow to add a new branch 4, I'm saying I want a hub and spoke. You can have a full mesh, you can have a partial mesh, point to point if needed. We are seeing less and less of full mesh these days because back in the days, we had call managers and printer services were shared within branches, not anymore. Choose the security association and boom, we have that VPN established. From an SD-WAN perspective, allow me 1 minute. So this is the IPsec monitoring. Each branch has 3 different WAN connections. I have 3 VPN tunnels established to the data center, packet transport, tunnel status, another NOC view for an MSSP or let's say an administrator to see what their install base is. Getting into SD-WAN, allow me 1 minute. So for the SD-WAN, we have a very good wizard wherein it allows you to define what would your topology be. Is it internet access, direct internet access, or branch to data center? For all purposes, it could be branch to the cloud as well, and maybe that's where you're using the scale. Could be a SonicWall firewall, or could be firewall as a service from Cloud Secure Edge. The good thing with SD-WAN here is you can do it the traditional way, the 5-tuple. Hey, I want my wipe traffic to go over this particular service or interface. My private access should go over to this particular interface. Or you can go it based on application. Anything which is trusted requires low latency. For example, collaboration tools like Zoom we are using today. We trust it. We want to make sure we give a pleasant experience. It goes through our lowest latency WAN link, and you can do that based on application. And we allow application-based routing along with policy-based routing. You can choose different criteria for SLA, latency, jitter, packet loss, or you can define your own custom SLAs. That's also an option. Going into a branch, what you see here is I have a small TZ offering with 3 different interfaces, 3 WAN links, all are up. You can choose to have policy tied to that. Okay, you want to do an active. All links are active. It's an equal cost. Send traffic through all. You can create probes to see what WAN per link is qualified for what traffic. Maybe going back to the same example, trusted applications goes through a link wherein it's low latency. When it comes to the load balancing, it could be round robin, it could be active standby, it could be active. For all purposes, back in the day when the term SD-WAN came in, it was all about redundant interfaces, I think, or WAN links. Now it is a lot more. So you can do it all from what was there before to what's there now. More importantly, just 1 minute. Depending on the traffic path, you can have multiple different path selections. So what you see here is I've configured 2 paths, one for my direct internet access, looking at low latency. The other is private application. I'm running a probe for VoIP traffic to see that, okay, how do I connect back to my data center from these branch? And the vectors I'm looking at is, or the criteria, latency, jitter. Based on that, what I see here is that, okay, X2 interface, which is my WAN 2, is qualified for the internet path selection based on the rule I created. And for my branch 2 data center connectivity, the X1 interface and the VPN established there is a better path. If, let's say, this particular tunnel goes down, or maybe the metric changes based on the same probe, you might have a newer qualified link for us to. All that is done within the system.
I was about to ask you about that. So sorry, I can't read. Right, that's a little small.
Sorry.
So you can map, let's say, an application to whatever a decision factor should be. So maybe it's quality, latency, bandwidth, security. If
Yes.
certain links are secured differently, and it will prioritize
Prioritize it.
the
Yeah.
ones that you've said are okay to use for that application. Okay.
Yes, and let's say based on the rule, we prioritize one particular link. Let's just say X1 or WAN 1 is prioritized. If WAN 1 goes down, or the attributes which we are looking at, let's say latency is an example, and for whatever reason the latency is not what it was before, it will automatically flail to the next particular best qualified link.
Is that pretty hitless?
Hitless and seamless, yes, and no touch point required, and with detailed logging.
Can it be cellular too?
Cellular, yes. We do offer integration with cellular dongles, which is now not a common deployment these days, but yes, we do support that. A lot of our customers still using cellular, if they're moving away from those dongles when they die, are going into cellular routers. So we do support a few, and it is available.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Perfect. So this is the topology view. So the firewall, based on the entire awareness of, okay, how many deployments are there, where's the traffic coming from. It's a self-populated topology, okay, and showing what link is active. So what you see is from this data center firewall, we're looking at 3 WAN links currently for outbound. The X1 link is active based on our attributes. For the LAN, we have the X0. This is where our private applications are. And I'll just show you one other thing before I bring Tarun back. So Tarun talked about the cloud security connector, and with Banyan coming into SonicWall, one thing which we brought in was 600,000 firewalls. The goal was, okay, how do we offer this simple technology? For all purposes, on one single click, just one click, if the customer is part of our Banyan security offering or SonicWall Cloud Secure Edge, they're part of the same tenant, we connect them to the nearest 5 POPs from the firewall on one click. So what you see here is this data center firewall, the NSA 2700, is connected to 2 POPs in the Europe and 3 in North America. I think for this demo, there's 1 in APJ as well. And the click which I did was this is the simple setting right here, enable cloud security edge. That's about it. And that allows our customers to connect to the cloud, and then going back to what Tarun highlighted, users from the app or whatever connectivity you're using, a connector, can connect into the Banyan infrastructure and have access to their private applications. Most deployments will have a firewall securing their private apps, and that's where this is. You can choose to allow an entire CIDR or a particular application server only, and then all the granular policies are handled in the Banyan Command Center, which Tarun highlighted and showed.